Okay, so I don't know if you've seen this or you heard about this, but you've probably heard in the last couple of years about the avian flu, influenza that's been going around. It's been kind of kicking around for about 10 years or so. And, you get little flare ups, little, whatever. Comes up, comes down. They talk about it a little bit here and there. But this will surprise you. This is the United States Government Federal Register. So I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this page here that talks about it, and I'm going to show you the CDC page that also talks about it. So it's Declaration of Emergency pursuant to the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act. So here we go. So I'm just going to read the summary. Here's the summary. The Secretary of Health and Human Services, HHS, is issuing this notice pursuant to the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic, the FT&C Act, on July 18th, 2024, so a week and a half ago. The Secretary amended the April 19th, 2013 declaration made pursuant to the FD&C Act regarding the avian influenza A, or H79N virus, and determined pursuant to his authority under the Act that there is a significant potential for a public health emergency, that has a significant potential to affect national security or the health and security of the United States citizens living abroad, and that involves biological agents, namely pandemic influenza A viruses and influenza A viruses with pandemic potential. Okay, so you can dissect that yourself. There's a couple things, couple important language in that. Obviously, public health emergency. That would be a big thing. Here's what the CDC says about the avian influenza. So here we go. What to know. In this week's Spotlight, we include the key findings from the recent Michigan-led study that tested the blood of farm workers from 2 dairy farms that experienced an outbreak of highly pathogenic avian influenza virus among cattle. The study looked for antibodies that would indicate infection with the virus. None of the blood samples collected from people who had been exposed to infected dairy cows showed avian influenza neutralizing antibodies, so meaning that they don't have antibodies to fight it, which is a problem. This is an important finding because it suggests that asymptomatic infections in people are not occurring and provides support to the current testing approach, i.e. collecting samples from symptomatic people who have been exposed to sick animals. Okay, so here we go. CDC update, July 19th, 2024, so the day after that last one. CDC continues to respond to the public health challenge posed by a multi-state outbreak of avian influenza, influenza A virus, or H5N1 bird flu in dairy cows, poultry, and other animals in the United States. CDC is working in collaboration with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, the U.S. Drug Administration, Administration for Strategic Preparedness and Response, state police or state public health and animal health officials, and other partners, including a One Health approach. Since April 2024, 10 human cases of avian influenza A, H5 infection have been reported in the United States. 4 of these cases were associated with exposure to sick dairy cows, and 6 were associated with exposure to avian influenza, or H5N1 infection, or infected poultry. This includes 2 additional cases in Colorado that were confirmed by CDC this week and not previously reported. The 2 new cases were in poultry workers with exposure to infected poultry during depopulation and disposal activities. Similar to previous cases, illness was mild. Based on the information available at this time, CDC's current H5N1 bird flu human health risk assessment for the U.S. general public remains low. On the animal health side, USDA is reporting that 153 dairy cow herds in 13 U.S. states have confirmed cases of avian influenza, H5N1, virus infections in dairy cows as the number of infectious herds continues to grow. USDA reports that since April 2024, there have been H5 detections in 34 commercial flocks and 16 backyard flocks for a total of 18.32 million birds affected. So goes on and on. Obviously, at that point, it just starts getting a little bit thick. But to sort of dissect this a little, you can read between the lines of what this is saying. Obviously, this is talking about the sort of, and I'm just summarizing here from what I've read. I'm not gonna make any bold assertions to this, but it's obviously saying that they're looking at this H5N1 as a potential risk to humans, and they've basically this is sort of the first stage of the Emergency Act. Now, if you remember, the Emergency Act gave powers during the pandemic for the government to enact all kinds of, you know, restrictions on your movement, your everything you can do, all your freedoms. So, having said that, I don't know what this is. I don't know if this is preliminary. Obviously, this is just something that they've released, and they're just kind of. But this is new, and it's, you know, the timing's weird. We'll say that. I'm not gonna say too much about it because, again, it's preliminary. I don't really. There's not a lot being said about it. So this could be something that they might be trying to push ahead of an election cycle. I said it. I said could be. I don't know, but the timing's a little weird. So let me know what you think in the comments. Go do some research for yourself, and you know, you come up with your own conclusions, I guess.